Hey, y'all. I could stand up here at the Bankers Club in Mexico City and talk to you about how people and their families, countless of families, have come up to me and say, Hannah, you don't even know me, but I follow you on your podcast show, on YouTube, and I see you speaking all around the country, but you have completely changed mine and my family's financial life. But honestly, what I want to share with y'all is how at 25 years old, I got to the point that I'm running an 8-figure business. I'll take you back to when I was 14. I was a freshman in high school, and that was the first ever job I ever had was at one of my dad's chiropractic clinics in the Kansas City area. I was the front desk girl, the CA, we called it, the chiropractic assistant. I was checking the patients in, hooking them up to their therapies, making all the notes within Silk One. And then I evolved. I turned 15, and at that point, Mom and Dad, they were building the business that we have today, the Money Multiplier. And Mom and Dad were not around. I grew up with nannies and my grandparents coming and staying with us. Back then, I thought it was so cool. I had a nanny back at the time. Her name was Charity. I would come home from school and she'd ask me, hey, are you hungry? Let me cook you something. And I thought it was so cool having like my own little personal servant almost, right? But it really built up a lot of resentment that I didn't know I had until I got a lot older. So then at 16, being mad at Mom and Dad, it has kind of shifted me into running with the bad crowds. I struggled with cocaine addiction. From then at 17, I actually moved out because Mom, Dad, and we did not get along very well. We just operated better when we were in different locations, kind of separated from one another. Obviously, I wasn't 18 years old yet, so Mom and Dad was helping to support me until I got to 18. And when I did turn 18 years old, Dad says, hey, it is no longer my responsibility to keep you alive anymore. At that time, I actually lost my job at the chiropractic clinic. I got fired because of my cocaine addiction. I was in tears. That night, I went home and I was applying all of these applications online I found an application for Cracker Barrel. And that next Wednesday, I went in, I did my interview, and I got hired that next day. And I'll tell you, Cracker Barrel was a great, great fun experience. I really enjoyed it. But it really opened my eyes to, hey, I don't want to be doing this the rest of my life. I see these career waitresses talking down to all of the younger servers that were there. Actually, I used to call them the wolf pack. So that's when I kind of came to Dad and I said, you know what? I don't know really what I want to do. Back then, when I was working at Cracker Barrel, I was actually going to community college. I thought I wanted to pursue being a CPA, and I was sitting there in class. I love teaching. I love understanding how money actually works, but it just wasn't my passion. So I had the opportunity to travel to Savannah, Georgia, and tour the SCAD school out there, Savannah College of Art and Design. And back then, that's when it really clicked with me because my 529 plan wasn't going to fund for that out-of-state college tuition. I was going to have to go and take out a boatload of student loans. So at that point, it clicked where I was like, okay, if I'm going to go spend these 4 years going to college, racking up all of this student loan debt, and then once I leave, go find myself like a 45, 50 a year job being a fashion designer, because that's really what I wanted to do. That's my passion. I felt like I was working backwards. So that's when I came to my father and I said, Dad, I had my tail in between my legs, and I'm like, I don't really got this life thing figured out. And so that's when he really gave me the direction, and he says, well, hey, I need help in my business, and if you're not going to help me, I'll go find someone else to help me. And I said, okay, Dad, well, what do you want me to do? And at that point, that's when I started off on our application team, really learning this business from the ground up. From there, I graduated to managing the application team. From that point, I elevated to being my father's assistant, traveling all around the country with him as he was giving live talks and seminars. I was his tech girl, and I was the one to pass out all the handouts, right? And then it got to the point that during the COVID time, I was doing a lot of live webinars, because back in COVID, live events kind of came to a screeching halt. So I was doing a lot of the presentations on these webinars to real estate investors, physicians, doesn't matter who it was, I was there delivering the message. So it came to March of 2021, right after COVID. I was 20 years old at the time. Dad came to me and he says, Hannah, I can't go make this event in Phoenix, Arizona to Justin Colby's group. And if y'all know Justin Colby, very big in the real estate space and the mobile home park investing. So he says, I got you a plane ticket. I'm going to put your ass on this airplane and you're going to fly to Phoenix, Arizona and talk live to an audience of 75 savvy real estate investors. And honestly, I was a little nervous. I remember waking up in that Airbnb in Phoenix. I practiced my presentation like 3 times before I even went in. And I've done it so many times, but I've never done it live, right? So I went in, I did it. And I would say that is the most pivotal moment that has ever happened to me. Now I've really found my confidence, my direction, my drive of where I really wanted to go. Since then, I've been traveling around. I speak at anywhere from 50 to 70 live events a year to doing over 100 podcasts within a year. Now, I really want to show women specifically and Gen Zers like myself that you don't have to be a slave to the 9-to-5 corporate America that's out there. We need to start learning how money actually works. So now what I do, I started my own bank when I was 18. I got into the real estate investing when I was 20. And by just really following a Zig Ziglar quote, if you help enough people get what they want, you in return will get what you want. So at the time I was 24 years old, I became a millionaire, and now I'm just on this direction in the path to share my story of really hitting my rock bottom and then now coming up and wanting to help other families build their own family financial empire. So I want to leave you with this. If it doesn't bring you peace, profits, or purpose, you shouldn't be giving it your time, your energy, nor your attention. My mama used to always say, I was walking out the door going to school, she would say, Hannah, the choices you make today are the choices that are going to affect your future. My name's Hannah Kesler, owner of the Money Multiplier, and it's such a privilege to be here today just to share my story. Thank you. Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in to another episode. If you enjoyed this content and you want to check out last week's episode, click right here and it'll take you to the previous week. So thanks for tuning in. I will see y'all next Tuesday. Catch you then.